I found every city center secret in Cyberpunk. From simple hobo muggings and dirty mattress adventures to full-on murder mysteries and spoilers for Cyberpunk 2. City Center is the beating heart of Night City, a place where the strongest Cyberpunk characters and corporations call home. So yeah, it makes sense to find secrets here. In fact, you'll find a lot. And in this video, I'll cover every single one you missed. And to keep it interesting, I'll include all the relevant details, dialogue, and data shards to keep you oiled up and ready to go. So grab those tissue boxes and let's get started. This is every city center secret in Cyberpunk. What if I said a hobo might have leaked a spoiler for Cyberpunk 2? See, Cyberpunk players have already seen hints of the Cyberpunk sequel, from Mr. Blue Eyes and Talks of the Moon, to Sandra Dorset and a secret corporation mind-controlling its citizens. Fast travel to Berkeley and Bruce in the northern part of City Center. Then turn and follow the road east until you spot a fenced area on your right. Behind a locked yellow door is something weird. There's a hobo on the ground with a unique pair of Tier 5 rocker pants and a bucket on his head. This is Steve Mnutchen, and Steve was high on glitter. If you don't know, glitter is the latest street drug brought to us by our favorite Japanese chums. It's a highly addictive psychedelic that causes crazy hallucinations, honey packet-like stiffies, and in worst cases, death. Okay, one of those is alive. And Steve took it for the first time, and he texted his friend Libby all spazzed out. Libby laughed and said the experience was like flying through space. But Steve took that too literally. Apparently he always wanted to go to space, and apparently Jupiter has 79 moons? Libby told him to cool off, but he never responded. Why? Well, he was too busy conducting his own rescue operation. If you look above his body, you'll find a sign, Rescue Mission, and the sign next to him, Mars. We find out in-game that Militech is already making plans to colonize Mars. Is this a hint of what's to come? Or maybe a chum at CD Projekt Red is just a huge Buckethead fan. You know, that American guitarist who wore a KFC bucket on his head and helped compose the soundtrack for the film Ghost of Mars.
Come on, you mindless mother.
Let this be a lesson in why you don't trust anyone in Night City. Head to the Reconciliation Park terminal point in City Center. Then, turn and face the Militech building. See those pipes below? We'll need to jump onto them and over the fence at the top. This will take you to a locked area with two officers on the ground. One's Miguel and the other's Eddie. But if you look close, dude, they're not officers. Oh, dude, you ruined my recording, bro. By the way, thank you, Chum. Love you. But if you look close, they're actually not officers. In fact, if you loot the bodies, you'll get 1700 Eddies and a Japanese mask. These dudes are Tiger Claws in disguise. Turns out Eddie and Miguel were part of a bigger crew with Tony and Nick, and their plan was to disguise themselves as officers and steal money from the shop around the corner. But somewhere along the plan went wrong, and Eddie told Nick that Tony betrayed him. Nick asked about Miguel, and Eddie told him he wasn't moving, so he quickly flicked the cord so he could rescue him. But Nick already knew where they were, because Nick was in on it too. Nick assured him that offing them wasn't part of the plan, and Nick reminded Eddie that it wasn't personal. But come on, chums, we all know that business always is. Here's where to find the ultra rare perk shard in Cyberpunk. Look, iconic weapons are cool. Nobody's gonna hate on a gun that shoots flaming bullets or a big black beefy appendage that makes squishy sounds when you smack people. But nothing's cooler than a perk shard. There's only 13 in the game, and one is in the hands of someone you wouldn't guess. Take the metro to the station on Sarasti and Republic. Then follow the road west until you spot two AC units on your left. You want to jump onto the first one, then Mario hop your way over to the last. There on top is the body of Cindy Hogan, a city center construction worker with a gift for her pal John. Apparently John needed Cindy's help getting a piece of tech, one that he couldn't do a big job without. Cindy assured him that she'd clept the piece at work, and John of course was quite happy hearing that. Happy for a little bit at least. Obviously Cindy didn't make it, but what was the piece of tech in question? A tier 5 freaking perk shard. Holy This rare item lets you put 1 point in any of your main attributes, which makes the difference in what doors you can open, what weapons you can wield, and just how badass of a person you'll be. Now I get why John wanted it so badly. Remember the tragic end to Reuben Halifax in Cyberpunk. Night City has a ton of characters with badass names: Adam Smasher, Denzel Cryer, and Reuben Halifax, a secret biker who went out in a blaze of glory. Fast travel to Reconciliation Park in City Center. There in front is a wooden walkway, and you want to follow it down to a broken bike on your left. It'll be next to a broken fence and tire tracks down some stairs, and in the water, just a few yards away, is the body of a man, Reuben freaking Halifax. You can take from his body 1700 eddies and a ram jolt consumable. Come on guys, clearly Reuben was part of some accident. He wasn't just skinny dipping in these waters. But what if I said he was actually part of some crazy balls stick to the walls Fast and Furious action? See, Reuben Halifax the Great was being chased, and his chum Sandworm was in his head, backseat driving, helping Reuben lose his pursuers. He gave Reuben clear directions: left, straight, left again, now right. Oh, this time he meant left. And with that, Reuben's almost getaway turned into a nosedive straight into a watery grave. But hey, at least we know Reuben never questions directions. That's a true ride or die. Have you ever heard the tragic tale of Fancy Bear and Gru? Their lives are a lesson in why you should never take on the Corpos. Fast travel to Ring Road and Corpo Plaza, then look left towards the big building with the connecting bridge. The secret we need to find is at its base, so cross the street to a fenced area on the other side. The top is covered in barbed wire, but climb the scaffolding near the vending machines to get over. And inside, you'll spot it, a fried body near a computer. Meet Fancy Bear, a voodoo runner stationed in this district. See, there's actually a few around the city, and it looks like the voodoo boys use these to jack in, do some gigs, and get help. And Fancy needed help now. See, on his body you can find his final talk. He was being tracked, and he contacted his friend Gru to save him. And Gru was stopped by the most inconvenient thing in the world, a Windows update. Gru told Fancy it'd be alright. 96% shouldn't take too long, but it jumped to 97 and back down to 96. A decade later, he finally managed to take down that firewall. And Fancy? Well, legend says he's still waiting. In Cyberpunk, everything is dialed to 11, from the cars, women, and employee labor laws. But have you ever wondered what happened to companies who steal workers? Trust me, it ain't pretty. Fast travel to Berkeley and Brewston City Center, then follow the ledge up until you reach a parking lot. Turn left and over a fenced area to find the secret. Inside is a grisly scene, a dozen bodies, and one officer. What happened? Well, you can loot the bodies to make a quick buck, and you'll also find a talk between Ellie Grayson and Alex Anderson, two managers from rival companies. It seems Alex reached out to Ellie about one of his missing engineers. Apparently his GPS was off and he wasn't picking up his phone. Ellie told him to get lost. She wasn't running a lost and found, but Alex told her that his people saw the engineer in her lobby. He'd quote, really hate to do an external audit. Ellie folded and said they'd work something out, and they both agreed to meet alone. Well, we can learn two things from this. 1, corpos always lie, and 2, corpos hate being lied to. Want the sexy rocker boots in Cyberpunk? Well then here's where to find the sad city center treasure. Fast travel to Alexander Street, then turn right and follow it down. This will take you to a small walkway near the water's edge. And at the end, a locked cage with crates inside. You can break the door with body 15 or jump off the side to find a hole in the wall. Inside is the body of Aiden, a briefcase full of cash, and the secret rocker boots. But that's not all you'll find. You'll also find the last talk between Aiden Smith and Roger Marshall. It turns out Aiden and his friend wanted to purchase something from Roger, and Roger was shocked that they actually had the cash. Aiden told him a story of how they jumped a corpo, stole a briefcase full of money, and got away. They even took a few hits, but of course they were good. Roger asked if it was just the two of them, and he also asked if they were doing okay. Not sus at all, by the way. And Aiden admitted that they were barely holding up. Roger immediately agreed to meet. In fact, he said he'd be there as fast as he could to show him something that'll blow their mind. And blow their minds he did. Karma has a funny way of working in Night City. Drugs are bad. Even Cyberpunk says so. And if you don't believe me, then you need to watch this. Fast travel to the Gold Beach Marina. This is the rich part of town with a boat owned by the Diddy of Night City. But that's another video. From the terminal point, turn left, then follow the sidewalk down to an underpass. From there, you want to listen to that man braid and head down into the dark and moist tunnel. Inside, you'll find bats on the floors, druggies all around, and the body of Neil Ulhrig. It turns out, Neil was a rich corpo, and he wasn't supposed to be here. But he managed to get his hands on glitter, and he was texting his pal Vance all about it. Vance was stoked, and he wanted to throw a party after work, so he asked Neil not to go through the whole thing before then. And Neil, of course, promised that he wouldn't. But nothing's honest about good old Neil. In fact, he came down to take a hit and also got jumped by the homeless who also wanted a taste. Chooms! Dude, thank you for watching till the end of the video. I just want to give a quick shout out to all of my Twitch subscribers and channel members. I think I'm gonna put it here or here. I don't know my lefts and rights, guys. But if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to support me, consider becoming a channel member. Peace, peace, peace.